growing up like that, it was a horrible experience for me because people always pick on me. What do you think picking on a person does to their dreams? It destroys them, it hurts them, and then they can't follow what their purpose or their calling is. Being a bully is a horrible thing, because it gets to a point where I'm not just being a bully by taking stuff from people, or by teasing somebody, or by saying stuff to somebody online where online everybody gets to see it, which is a horrible thing. What would happen if the same thing is done to you? How would you feel about it? It's horrible. Hurting somebody else is a horrible thing. Hurting somebody else's feelings, if it was done to you and the tables were turned, you also feel horrible. But there comes a time when you're hurting somebody and you're carrying on with that, and then what happens? That person turns around and becomes a bully. And when that person turns around and becomes a bully, or the person turns around and becomes the aggressor, then who's the person that was wrong? You caused it, but now that person is even worse because they're hurting so bad. Bullying somebody doesn't always just change the person's behavior. It also leads to other things like suicide. And we're living in a country today where the suicide rate of teenagers is so high. Why? Because you guys are hurting so much, but you're not talking to anyone to help you deal with those things. You guys are hurting so much that you're using substances to escape from these things. And once you do use substances, you can't think properly. Why? Because now you try to escape using chemicals or alcohol or anything else, and it's not working. Why? Because what happens when you keep running from stuff? It just gets worse. A lot of you guys think, because I'm a big guy, I can bully and I can hurt other people. There's bigger fish out there, and you don't want to be hurt by those people either. A lot of you guys have heard things like you'll never be anything, or you'll never amount to anything, or you're useless, or you're rubbish, or you wash up. And those things aren't true. We only say these things because we want to hurt other people, or it's been spoken over us, and then what happens? We start hurting other people. Why? Because we're hurting, and hurt people always end up hurting people. And it's not fair on the next person. The reason we believe those, we take those things in when people speak these things about us, is because we allow it in. And we allow people to say stuff that we take to heart, we take to mind, and we shouldn't be doing that. A lot of you guys are forgetting where your true identity lies. A lot of young people really forget where your identity is. Why? Because you're always thinking, and that guy smoking is cool. I thought that when I was at school. That guy's doing drugs, smoking cool. That guy's doing crime, that guy's disrespecting the teachers. There's nothing cool. There's nothing cool about it. The coolest people are the ones that are going to churches and making a difference. The coolest people in the world are the ones that are willing to change the lives of somebody else. Yes, you might be going through something, but somebody else, the person next to you, is going through something even worse. You might not understand it. He might not understand it, or she might not understand it. But help each other out. Hurting people just doesn't get you far. Such a horrible thing, trying to live your life and trying to do something well at school and make yourself proud when you're hurting so much because other people are hurting and they're saying stuff that's hurtful. The guys need to remember, there's only one place where you can find our identity. The way that people used to see me when I was younger, or actually even till today, being a colored male in this country, I'm seen as a gangster, I'm seen as a drug addict, I'm seen as a violent person, I'm seen as an alcoholic, but that's not my identity. My true identity lies in Jesus. That's where my true identity is. If it wasn't for Jesus, I wouldn't be standing here today speaking to you guys. If you guys have seen or lived off of the stuff I've lived through, some of you guys won't make it through. I got bullied up in primary school. I was treated like a rubbish. I was treated like the worst person in the world. Nobody wanted to mix with me. Because I mixed it. I kept believing that. I was always told, even by my own mother, I was always told, you'll never be anything. You'll never become somebody. You'll never go anywhere in life. And I believed that for many years. So bullying doesn't only happen in school. doesn't only happen in our community, but it happens by parents. It happens by people around us. Why? Because people like speaking things over us and saying things to us that we start believing. But we need to find where our foundation is and where our true identity lies. The only way you're going to get there is if you believe. I think I'm the toughest guy in school, but how far do you think it's going to get? It's not going to get very far. And these guys, most of you guys in the trip also, you guys have got so the last few months. You guys want to become something, you want to be somebody, you want to have your own fancy house one day or have a nice family one day. But how are you going to get there if you can't do all these things with you? How are you going to get there? Say you get suspended for bullying somebody and put your exams. And you have to repeat next year. All your friends are done. But now you're sitting there because of bad decisions. You guys need to start making the right decisions now. You guys need to start seeing what your dreams are and holding on to those dreams. Yes, things might look like it's not possible, but there's always somebody in this world that can help you reach those dreams. I can change my life around. If I can turn everything around from the bad things that I did and from the way that I lived, you guys can do it too. But do it now before it's too late. You guys as the seniors are supposed to be setting the bar so high, so that the guys that are in the lower grades, grade 8 and 9, even grade 10, you guys are supposed to be leading them by example so that you can say, hey, you shouldn't be behaving like that. You shouldn't be treating people like that. Because you be treated like that doesn't mean you have to treat people like that. Be a leader. Set an example. Show people that so much better doing the right thing. My dreams were crushed when I was younger. They were badly crushed. A lot of you guys that have heard me speak before know that at the age of 15 I went to prison. And every year between 15 and 24 was a constant thing. Why? Because I knew better. Why? Because I was the coolest. Why? Because I thought I knew better than anyone else. I thought I didn't have to listen to anyone. I thought I didn't have to have a dream or didn't have to have anything in my life because of my choices that I made. But I get to stay here today because I've changed it. Each one of you guys have got a dream, but God has also got a plan and purpose for each one of you. If you don't follow those dreams and you don't follow those plans, you end up in a job that you don't love. Or you end up in a place where you're doing the wrong thing and then you end up prison. Or you end up getting shot. Or you end up hanging around with the wrong crowd and you never be able to reach your potential. And if you can't reach your potential, how do you think you're going to start? How do you think you're going to get through this year? Or even next year for the guys that are going to university? Or even the guys that are going to matric next year? How do you think you're going to get there if you're not putting the heart to it? Yes, we're struggling. Some of us are struggling with our schoolwork. Some of us are struggling to understand certain things. But there's always somebody to help you.